Welcome back! In this video, we will be covering the conversion of two units. Let's say that I start with 3.5 grams per centimeters cubed and want to convert it to milligrams per inches cubed. How would I go about doing that? Notice how this problem is different from what we've previously been working on with only one unit in all of our previous videos. We can follow similar steps to what we've been doing previously. Step 1. As always, we label what we're given. In this case, it's 3.5 grams per centimeters cubed. The desired unit we want to get to is milligrams per inches cubed. As always, the next step is to find the conversion factors. Except this time, we have to do something different. We have to treat the numerator and denominator units separately. And we want to find conversion factors that will take us from the first numerator to the second numerator and the first denominator to the second denominator. So first, we need to think about conversion factors that take us from grams to milligrams in the numerator and conversion factors that will take us from centimeters cubed to inches cubed in the denominator. Now let's begin. We start by putting 3.5 grams on the top left. Now, because we have two units, which is grams per centimeters cubed, the centimeters cubed will be directly underneath it, and you simply fill it in with a 1, since 3.5 is the same as 3.5 divided by 1. Next, we pick which unit we want to convert first. In this case, we usually just convert the numerator first and then take care of the denominator. The order really doesn't matter. So in our example, we're going to start with the grams and convert it to milligrams in the numerator. We simply ignore the other unit and convert it as we normally would. The conversion factor of 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram will be placed in the next column, and we would have grams at the bottom because of the diagonal unit rule and milligrams at the top. Before we move on, let's check if we have the desired unit we want to get to. For the numerator, we wanted to get to milligrams, and it looks like we have milligrams at the top, so we are done converting the numerator unit. Now, let's move on to converting the denominator. We then need to get from centimeters cubed to inches cubed for the denominator conversion. Now, let's quickly pause here. The only knowledge we have is that there are 2.54 centimeters in an inch. But we have to be careful. This is not the same as converting between centimeters cubed and inches cubed. This is a common mistake students make. They often think that 2.54 centimeters cubed equals 1 inch cubed, when in fact, the conversion fact only applies to centimeters and inches, not the cubed units. So let's take a step back and talk about what we do here. Since we know that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters, if we, for example, want to find out how many centimeters cubed are in an inch cubed, we simply square both the numbers and the units. Similarly, if we want to find out how many centimeters cubed are in an inch cubed, we simply cube both sides of our original conversion fact. So, when we're converting between units in multiple dimensions, like the square or the cubed, you want to be sure to raise both the unit and the conversion number to the same exponent. So in our case, we want to square both the 1 inch and the 2.54 centimeters to get them to the third dimension. So 1 inch cubed is going to equal 2.54 cubed, or 16.39 centimeters cubed. So now, how do we put this into our train tracks? Since centimeter cubed was at the bottom, that means that centimeters cubed will now be at the top for this next train track based on the diagonal rule, even though the columns are not directly next to each other. So now centimeters cubed will be at the top train track, and we're going to put inches cubed at the bottom since that is the unit we want to get to next. So we will go ahead and put 16.39 centimeters cubed at the top and 1 at the bottom box. Now, to check if we're done, we want to make sure that the bottom track has our desired units for the denominator. It looks like it does, since we wanted to get to inches cubed in our denominator. So So now, using the same method of multiplying everything on the top and dividing by everything in the bottom, we get our final answer of 57,000 milligrams per inches cubed. This number has been rounded to two significant digits since our initial value, 3.5, also only had two sig figs.